external jugular vein. And these veins, they are really similar to the arteries, to the branches of the external carotid artery. So if you remember on the previous class, we have discussed the branches of the external carotid artery. So we have anterior branches like superior thyroid artery, lingual artery, facial artery. There also will be some ascending pharyngeal artery, occipital artery, posterior auricular artery. And these arteries, they have also veins which passes with them. So we may also find two pictures to compare arteries and veins. And there won't be so much difference between them. So, for example, superior thyroid artery we have here, which had glandular branches to the thyroid gland, which had superior laryngeal artery, and the cricothyroid here also, yeah. And the superior thyroid vein, it passes very similar to the artery, so it also takes blood from the thyroid gland, from the cricothyroid muscle. Here we have superior laryngeal vein, which also passes through the hole in the thyroid membrane with the artery, and it is drained into the internal jugular vein. But we may also have one more vein coming from the thyroid gland. So arteries we had only two, superior and inferior thyroid arteries. Superior from the external carotid artery, inferior from the subclavian. And here we may also have medial thyroid vein, which also drained into the internal jugular vein. So we had lingual artery, small artery which supplies the tongue, and along with the lingual artery we will have lingual vein, which provide veins drained from the tongue. Facial artery we had, yes, which supplied the face mostly, which had superior and inferior labial arteries, submental artery, and continued on the medial angle of eye as an angular artery. And the same with the vein, but again, when we talk about veins, we talk about them in the opposite direction, because artery brings blood to the organs, vein takes blood from the organs. So it starts as an angular vein here. Here it's anastomosis with branches with inflows of the ophthalmic arteries, like with the nasofrontal vein, with the supratrochlear and supraorbital veins. So angular vein passes downwards, takes superior and inferior labial vein, submental vein, and also come into the internal jugular vein. They may pass also in several ways. They can go to the internal jugular vein separately, or they may form a common trunk which will receive the blood from the lingual vein, from the facial vein, and from the retromandibular vein. So, also internal jugular vein deeply, it will take the pharyngeal veins from the pharynx. So we had extended pharyngeal artery, and we will have also pharyngeal veins which take blood from the pharynx. Maxillary artery we had, and we have also several maxillary veins, and they are not forming the common large trunk. They are forming the pterygoid plexus. Yeah, so they're located in the infratemporal fossa, forms this pterygoid plexus, take the inferior alveolar vein inside, some veins from the muscles of mastication also, and they go into the vein which is called retromandibular vein. So retromandibular vein, it copies the terminal part of the external carotid artery, because it is formed from the superficial temporal vein and the maxillary veins combined. Also, it will take veins like transverse facial veins, some pragmatic orbital veins, frontal and parietal veins from here, maxillary veins from here. Also, there is one large vein, the pterygoid plexus, which connects retromandibular vein with facial vein. It is called deep facial vein, which passes through the infratemporal fossa here, deep facial vein. So it connects facial vein with the pterygoid plexus, and by this connects it with the retromandibular vein. And retromandibular vein descends, and on the level of the angle of mandible, it drains into the internal jugular vein, commonly with the facial and lingual veins. Any questions here? But we haven't mentioned some veins which are coming from the posterior part. Yes, there were occipital and posterior auricular arteries, and the same we have with the veins. Yeah, we have occipital vein and posterior auricular vein. Why haven't we not mentioned them? Because they are not drained into the internal jugular vein. They are not drained into internal jugular vein because they connect with each other, connect with the posterior branch of the retromandibular vein, and together they form vein which is called external jugular vein. Yeah, external jugular vein. It is more superficial vein. Here it is coming. It passes right under the platysma muscle and superficial neck fascia on the external surface of the sternocleidomastoid muscle, and then it descends into the omoclavicular triangle of the neck and in front of the anterior scaly muscle passes and drains into the subclavian vein usually. Drained into the subclavian vein, or it may be drained into the angle between the subclavian vein and the internal jugular vein, or very rarely in the internal jugular vein. Also, the external jugular vein, it has some incomes like suprascapular vein, which are coming from the scapula, yes, and takes blood from the supraspinous muscle, infraspinatus muscles, and the dorsal surface of the scapula. It takes transverse cervical vein, which takes blood from the lateral side of the neck, and it also takes anterior jugular veins, which are passing on the anterior part of the neck, on the surface of the sternohyoid muscles here, and then it turns to drain into the external jugular vein. So, do you have any questions about vein drainage from the neck?